like everyone was just bullying Eotech about OD Green, like OD Green. And they'd post something like Happy Father's Day. And there's like 20 people like, give us OD Green. And I was like, damn, like this is something. So like I was sitting there one night and I was thinking like I had just spent the last of my money on all the rent and stuff for the shop. And I was like, if something doesn't happen, like we will be fucked. And so I like looked at my Eotech and I looked at the paint locker, had no money for paint. And I was like, I might be able to make a green that looks anno. So I started dumping a bunch of stuff in a bottle, and then I posted a picture. I made the laser files like on Illustrator to put all the markings back on so it doesn't look fake. And I posted a picture, and I was like, I'll show you guys tomorrow like what this looks like. And then I sprayed it, and I tagged Eotech, and I was like, now you. And then everyone was like, what the fuck is, like, who is this guy?
So we're talking to the guys from Redacted Concepts today. We've got Sal and Anthony. They've came up. They're here local to us. Once we started talking about doing a podcast, they raised their hand and volunteered. They've got a history of volunteering for stupid shit. So we had them come up, and we're sitting here and talking to them today. So what we're going to start off with, we'll just go around and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into the firearms industry, and what you did prior to getting into this industry.
Oh, that's a hard one. So my name is Sal, and I grew up like mostly on the West Coast. So like born in Seattle, and then like I got adopted, like moved to Oregon. Then we had like some family stuff going on, moved to California, back to Oregon. I left home when I was like 15. And did the whole like bum it thing, like living on friends' couches. When I turned 18, I joined the Marine Corps, went back to California, ended up in 29 Palms. And then I met my wife when I was in California. And then when we had our son, like I got out and we just bounced and we moved here to Texas. I wanted to get in the industry after my last deployment because I saw like guns are rad. Like they're super rad and they're like, I mean, they're always fun to shoot and play with or whatever, but I was like, maybe like this is a good industry to get into, right? Because I was a car guy, and I thought it was just kind of like a good transition or whatever. So I came here, went to a bummy gunsmith school that I won't name, and then I worked in retail for a long time, and then Redacted just kind of fell in our laps.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just turned 26.
Anthony, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Anthony. I mostly grew up here in Texas. Always lived in Houston for most of my life. H-Town, holding it down and all that. Right out of high school, I joined the Marine Corps. I was 17 when I joined in. Went straight infantry. Right after that, went to 29 Palms. Got stuck there the entire time. Deployed a few times to, went out to Kuwait, and then they moved us out to Iraq, and then Iraq again. Right after that, I think I was mostly working like warehouse and doing nursing and all that stuff because I worked as a medical assistant, working as a doula, doing a lot of that. Did that for a lot of years too. After that, while doing that, because I worked in the gun industry part-time and a warehouse part-time, so I worked like 3 jobs at the same time just because I liked working. Didn't really know what else to do, so I was like, you know what? I like money. I'm just gonna make a lot of it. So I did that for a while, and then working at a gun store for a little bit, and I was like, oh, you know what? Getting a little more access to these guns. I think I'm just gonna buy some more. So I do that, pick up that hobby, and then me and Sal started this Cerakoting business, and we're like, you know what? We're getting a little farther into this and getting a little more and more, and then we started doing that more now. Now I'm 27 years old, and we've been doing this for a couple of years, and it seems to be working out pretty good for us.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
We win sometimes.
Yeah.
We lose more, but yeah.
Did you guys know each other at 29 Palms?
No, which is super funny.
Yeah, that was my question.
No, it's super funny. Like once we met, we were like chit chatting or whatever, and like we were in like sister units, same regiment, and like we stood in like some of the same formations, like did like some of the same field ops, like adjacent, and never met each other until like we worked at a gun shop together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the closest that I would have met him is that when they were doing this this exercise, and it had to be overwatched by another unit that already did their deployments.
Yeah.
So we basically grade them. So the closest I would have gotten to him was them on a field up of me overwatching them, be like,
Yeah.
hey, you're doing this really shitty.
It was rough.
And like probably kicking him back of the head.
Dude, it was so
He was
bad.
probably one of the ones I did kick in the head.
Yeah.
Or if my first sergeant ever sees it, no, I didn't kick him in the head. I didn't do that because hazing's bad. But yeah, that would have been the closest during one of the field ops that I probably yelled at him for doing something wrong. We did fail him though. That was
Oh, yeah.
pretty bad. Yeah.
No, I remember that ITX, dude. It was rough. It was so bad. The whole stand-up of that unit was just a massive shit show.
Yeah.
Like, because my unit was, we disbanded in 2014. We stood back up like at the end of 2015. But when we got there, like, obviously there was no one there. So they pulled, like, people from everywhere that they could. So, like, all the companies were made up of, like, boots. And then all the NCOs came from, like, security forces or whatever. So they had no deployments. Like, they didn't really know what they were doing. So they were teaching the boots. And then all the staff NCOs, they all came from B-billets. So, like, recruiting and the drill field or whatever. So it's like nobody had any current info on anything. So it was rough.
That's scary.
It was so bad.
That's scary. What rank did you get out?
Corporal.
Corporal?
Yeah.
I got out as corporal because I was an infantryman. I picked up corporal like a couple months before I got out. They were like, hey, you're promoted. Leave. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So it didn't matter. I was a lance the whole time.
Excellent. And so what made y'all go into Cerakote?
So that's a funny story. So
Which is why I asked.
yeah. So before I joined the Marine Corps, I did I went to school for it, and I did graphic design, like freelance, all throughout high school. And then when I came down here and I was doing that gunsmithing school, I needed a lower Cerakoted. So I went to a local guy and I asked him, I was like, hey man, like I'm about to graduate gunsmith school. Like, do you want an apprentice or do you need help or like whatever? And he's like, well, no, but whoever's cutting my stencils just like ghosted me. Like, I don't have any stencils to do paint. I was like, well, like I have a vinyl cutter and I have the graphic design background, so I could just make your stencils for you. I was like, I'll do them for free if you teach me like what you're doing, you know, because I was bored working a part-time job and still living off of like deployment money, disability, whatever. So I was like, so anyways, I started helping him out, and then maybe 8 or 9 months later, he goes, hey man, like I'm moving to Alaska and it's going to cost me like X amount of dollars to move all my stuff. And if you know anyone that wants to buy my stuff for super cheap, let me know. And I'll cross-stack everything over to him and we'll call it good. And I was like, well, how much do you want? And he like gave me a number, and he was like, if you want to buy it, you could just pay me when you get around to it. Just take all the stuff and just like, and then I'll split and you can keep everything and we'll call it good. Okay, sure. So I went to work the next day and he was working. I was like, yo, like by chance,
You just randomly too. Hey man, I was like, oh what?
yeah, like do you like want to start a company with me? And he was like, for what? I'm like, look, we're gonna paint stuff. And he was like, sure.
Yeah.
So,
at this time, I only worked at that part-time job, like very part-time, because I
Yeah.
worked other jobs too. So I was
yeah.
there
Like one day a
maybe
week.
one shift a week for 8 hours a week. I was there.
Yeah.
And I knew him for maybe 6 months at that point.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, you want to start a company? I was like, sure, I guess. Yeah, whatever. More happenstance.
Might as well, yeah. So yeah, and then so we were gonna run out of his 12x12 that they had set up like behind a gun shop, and like the landlord kicked us out basically, and she was like, nope, you guys can't be here, blah 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 blah. You guys are too young, because we were 23 or 24 at the time. And they're like, nope, you guys are handling guns. You guys are too young, blah, 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 blah. Like, what if you ND, like, through the wall and kill a customer or something? I was like, whatever. So they kicked us out, and then we found, like, a new building, which is where we're at now. And then we just kind of moved everything in and started doing what we were doing.
What year was that?
That was 2 years ago, August 1st. So,
Oh, wow.
So
Right in the middle of
Oh, yeah.
COVID and
2020.
everything.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like just before all that really started up.
nice.
Yeah.
No, it was right after. No,
Right
it was,
after?
Yeah, it was rough because I remember I used my what's it called?
Oh, the stimulus check?
No, the my commission check.
Oh,
Yeah, from the gun shop to pay like our first couple months rent at the building. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I mean, that's when we started really taking off.
yeah. It was like probably like March April is like when it just like
March went a little bit nuts because of just
Yeah, I
the
bet.
lockdown.
Yep.
But we were looking at the
summer.
shipping when the
Yeah.
Kenosha riots, when they started burning cities, and
Yeah.
everybody said, I need a gun, and I need a gun that works.
Yep.
I don't care what else, but it works. And that's when we just everything just went off.
Yeah, because that's when y'all brought me on. Was like literally August of that year, and that's when it.
Yeah, it was a fun time to do business in the industry.
oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
a wild roller coaster of a couple of years.
It sucked for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone was like spending all their money on like guns and ammo, not like cosmetic shit. So
Yeah,
It was-
I was at
was
a
hard.
local range before here, and it was. I mean, we couldn't keep stuff on the
Yeah.
shelf.
no, we couldn't either.
Guns, ammo was just
Oh yeah,
out the door.
Everything.
First couple days like of the whole like in March.
Yeah,
When everything blew up, it was rough.
spicy.
It was bad. Yeah, it was fun, but yeah, that was a fun time.
I was definitely glad I was in Texas for that,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
not anywhere else.
Yeah.
Ike, you did a short run in the Cerakote business.
Yeah, actually, hearing their story kind of brought back some
Yeah.
cool memories. That's kind of how we got started. I don't think a lot of people know it, but back in 2013, 2014, we wanted to be in the industry. I was working part time at a gun shop too, and we wanted to get involved in the industry. And we're like, hey, there's this Cerakote thing. That sounds pretty cool. Let's try that. We'll paint some guns, So sold my truck. There's like a 1994 F-150. There's a cab and a half. Had 2 gas tanks on it. Those old ones. And what was funny is one of the gauges didn't work. So like I'd always run on the gauge that did work. And then when I'd switch tanks, I would know that I have about 11 gallons or whatever
Yeah.
before I did the mileage. I know I'd have to hurry up and go fill up on gas before that tank ran out because the gauge didn't work. But anyways, we sold that truck, and we started doing Cerakote out of the garage. We bought like a small little air compressor, one of those Harbor Freight blast
Oh,
cabinets. Built like a spray booth out of 2x4s and like just some plastic sheeting. And then we were going to skimp out on the oven. So we went on Craigslist, found like a $50 little
Like a
kitchen
smoker?
oven,
Oh,
like a kitchen
shit.
oven from the sketched out not a hotel house down in like Texas City or something. Drove all the way down there, picked it up. It didn't fucking work. So we got rid of that, and we ended up buying one of those smokers, like a propane smoker,
Yeah.
basically. Got it all out, insulated it and stuff, and then, it was small. We could do like a barrel and like a couple hand guards or something, but that's kind of how we got our start. And then we did that for a little bit out of the garage. Me and my wife in the evenings after work. We were both working full-time jobs at the time. So we did that for a little while, and then we moved to Dayton, and then kind of, I guess, what your boss got into, or not boss, but like the guy that you were stenciling
yeah.
for. We didn't want to move it all, so we ended up selling it. During that time, though, we had upgraded, got a bigger compressor,
Yeah.
a 3-phase compressor, a nice bigger blast cabinet. We made some improvements along the way, but starting out was super sketch. Like,
Oh yeah.
we just basically taught ourselves, the first ones we did were all gritty and like, patchy, and it was horrible. But
There's still a couple guns floating around.
we have a couple, yeah. So
Yeah.
like we got better at it, but like the first ones were like, and that was years ago. Before, I think they only had C series. It was the C series. They had
The air
big-
dry.
Yeah, they had just come out with the air dry series.
Yeah.
But a lot has changed since then. And,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's a hard market to like kind of break out and be new in, like, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's been around for forever, and then you got guys like Mike and like the Romans that are
Yeah.
just phenomenal applicators, and like anything that can be done has probably already been done by them because they've been doing it for 8, 9, 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, like Mike was already super established when we did it. We were like kind of
Yeah.
looked at him as like a god, like
Oh, yeah.
like he was the gold standard for Cerakote.
100%. Yeah, and I think a lot, like I think he still is for the most part. Like
Yeah, he's truly an artist,
Oh, for sure.
Like he does some crazy stuff.
What
Yeah.
company is that?
Blown
Blown
Deadline.
Deadline.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
I know
yeah.
who you're referring to.
He's a great dude for sure. Like he's helped us out a lot when we need it. Like we try and be as mutual as we can and hook him up with stuff. But yeah, he's an awesome dude. But I mean, it's hard to like, in any other industry, like you can innovate and it's probably gonna be new. Like, you know what I mean? But in the Cerakote industry, since, I mean, there's only a set amount of colors that you can use, and like you get one spray gun and an oven and some stencils. Like, you know what I mean? Like, someone's probably already done it with spray paint or Cerakote or Duracoat, whatever. So, yeah, I think getting out was like probably very beneficial for y'all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I
We
can imagine that.
We sold the Cerakote stuff, went into retail, had like a little 10x7 shed out behind our house, like one rack of stuff, and then like a laptop, and that was what we started out of. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. It's working out so far.
It seems like it, yeah.
It's going.
Yeah.
It's working.
But y'all have made a pretty good name for yourself just in the past couple of years that y'all have been doing this.
We've tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just a little bit.
y'all are doing a bunch of OEM work too. Like I know the latest one is probably with Law. That I don't know if y'all
yeah.
saw the OD Green run of Law folders that they
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Okay.
Those turned out nice.
Thanks. Yeah. That was like our first big kind of OEM job that we took on, and like since then we've gotten others. We've taken them on, or
But I mean,
built them
Law
on.
Folder, they're pretty well known, or at least in our circles that we run in. That's a pretty big name. And then
No,
you know,
yeah.
that was sold through Brownells, so like that's,
Yep.
I mean, that's those are two pretty big names right there.
No, yeah, it was cool. Yeah, Mike, he's such an awesome dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, it all like started from a joke too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he like I did an adapter for somebody, and he added me as a friend, and then like spammed me with all these likes like on my Facebook page. And so I messaged him. I was like, "What's up, bro? Like, you want to do a run?" And he was like, "Actually, yeah, call me on my personal." I was like, "Oh fuck!" Oh, shit. Like, okay. So I
Shit
called
got
him.
real.
He's like, "Yeah, man. So we're looking at maybe doing like 200." I was like, "Okay." And then he's like, "Just send me out samples." Blah 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 blah. This is before 3.6 was even invented. Like we had just made ODG 2, and so I sent him out samples. Then we developed 3.6. And I sent him out samples of those too. I was like, wait, like tell him, hold on, like I have something better. So we sent those out, and then we did 5.2, and I was like, this one's even better. Like, let me send this. So I sent it out, and then 6.2 came along, which was happenstance. And I sent him pictures. I'm like, bro, this is the play. And he goes,
Are those all colors you're talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Different
like
shades
all
of the
proprietary
ODG that we
blends.
have.
Or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah. So when we did 6.2, I sent him out samples, and he was like, I think this might be the one, blah, 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 blah. Talked to Brownells. Brownells came back and they said, no, we want your first iteration of it, which was like ODG1. It was gross. It was like 3 colors. It was nasty looking. It was like a proof of concept kind of prototype deal. And I was like, nope, that's gross. If you send me X amount of folders, I'm not going to do them in 1. I'm going to do them in 6.2. Like, I'll just ship them back, and there's going to be no time for you guys to like ship them back and have me redo them all. That's how this is going to work, because I will not do them in 1. And so we talked, and then we finally found out at SHOT Show that we were doing 6.2.
Nice.
And I was hyped, kind of, because it's like very expensive to make, because it's 14 color or 16 colors.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's some like Mad Chemist kind of stuff.
So there's because there's like
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's like-
Definitely is.
there's colors for bias, there's colors for sheen, there's colors for shade, there's an emulsifier in it. Like there's so much that goes into it. So I was like, fuck, that's gonna be so much money. Like because we had to mix up. And Mike, man, he's like, when I showed up, I was like, yeah, we're only doing 200 adapters. So we show up, we're in a meeting with Brownells, and he goes, hey man, I think we should do. He's talking to Brownells, like trying to sell. He goes, I think we should do 1,200. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
And
We're
then-
just sitting there like, oh my
Shit,
God. He's
yeah.
like talking these huge numbers of parts that we're going to have to do. And
Oh,
we're just
yeah.
like in the back kind of absorbing it all. And he's like, oh yeah, I think about like 1,200 parts should be all right. And we're just like, I don't know where we're even going to put all these parts first off. Huh?
Yeah, for us, that's 3,600 pieces that we have to paint. And we were looking at like a sub 3-week timeline.
Oh, holy cow.
Oh, yeah. And we were still working full-time jobs. So I was like, fuck. So then, like, it ended up getting knocked down to 600 after some, like, back and forth. And then, of course, like, POs took forever. And then, like, all of them showed up. And then, like, we timed everything completely wrong, which was cool. Yeah. Because I like numbers, right? Like, I like math. I like to know, like, what everything's going to take. So, another customer sent in a folder, and we timed like how long it took to sandblast all the DLC off of it. And then we timed like how long it would take to spray each individual component, and then get the median of that, and then bake it, and then pull it out. And then we just factored in X amount of time for packing and whatever. I was like, it should only take us 2 weeks if we do it like this. The parts get in and they're all fresh out of heat treat with the scale on it. And that scale is much harder than DLC. So our sandblasting time took about 4 times longer than we had quoted. Yeah. So it all kind of got crunched into doing, what was the math? 1,214 parts in 6 days. Yeah. So.
Did you guys just like glue your sprayers to your hands and just not move?
Almost. I made a lanyard, actually. Yeah, because like my forearm was getting so tired from just holding the gun
Just
up.
wearing adult diapers, drinking Red Bulls, and spraying.
It was definitely all-nighters done for that week.
Oh yeah, no, we did 6 straight 20-hour days, 22-hour days. Yeah, but we got them out, and they said that we had one piece that was like flawed, and I was like, oh, that's a win.
Yeah, that's
out of 1,214 parts, like one of them is blemished. Like I'm cool with that.
I'm okay with that failure rate. For that reject rate.
Yeah. I mean, like it even got to the point where the truck showed up to pick up the pallet, and like he was at work, of course, and the truck shows up to pick up the pallet. I still had 2 ovens full of parts that were like baking because they were QC issues, and so like I had to pack those up and overnight that box. It cost us like $300 to overnight, those heavy box, like 12 by 12 boxes. Oh yeah. So we like overnighted them, and I was still like, we always account for like a 10% failure rate when it comes to like large orders like that. So he comes back with a number, and I was like, oh, thank fucking God. Like, I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah.
So they're good people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then of course that led to everything else. Everybody else like, can you do my OEM stuff? Maybe.
Yeah, it's got to be fun, but it's also got to be scary at the same time, because it's like a big upfront cost, and then like there's like so much stuff that can go wrong, and then you're meeting deadlines and all this other stuff.
I don't think we've ever met a deadline, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, that was always the biggest thing for us when we were doing Cerakote. It was just me and my wife, but like something always happens, and then there's we quoted like an extremely long timeline, but we'd always beat the deadline just because we over exaggerated how long it would take.
Oh yeah,
that was just us doing like onesie twosies, not big batches, but just there's so many steps to that process that there's a lot that could go wrong.
Oh yeah,
it's especially like if you don't flash all the oil out of it and then it bubbles up. Strip it down, repeat everything over. You've got to go acetone wash it, sandblast it, acetone it again, bake it out, and then. I mean, it's a very intensive process.
Oh yeah.
That's always a main issue, is because you won't figure out that something was wrong with it until after you're done with it, and that whole thing took like 4 or 5 hour process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just the other day, like I didn't realize this, but I kept like spraying. It was a silencer. Like it should take me 20 minutes max to mask it, blast it, paint it, and just hang it in the safe and let it dry. And dude, I kept painting it, and I was like, damn, like this paint is aerating or something, but it looked like there was like a bunch of tiny little bubbles in it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so I kept like scrubbing it with acetone, because you can't flash bake it. So I was like scrubbing it with acetone, and then I'd spray it again. I'm like, why the fuck are there bubbles? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like triple filtering paint, like trying to get these air bubbles out. And then I realized like I put something else in the acetone, and I pulled it out, and somebody, instead of like taking these parts out of the sandblaster and blowing them off with air, they just stuck them straight into the acetone.
Oh man!
So now there's just blast media in the acetone, and it was sticking to the part. So of course, like I had to drain the whole thing, clean the whole tub, go to the store, get 5 more gallons of acetone, come back, and then redo the whole thing. So 20-minute job turned into 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was a mess. But yeah, it sucks sometimes.
How big's the crew? Is it just you two?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, yeah. We have some like homies that'll come by and help out, and then we have another co-owner.
Okay.
But he's like on and off. He's in the oil industry. Okay. So he'll be gone for 2 to 6 weeks or whatever. Come back for a couple weeks, and
Gotcha.
yeah. But for the most part, it's just us full time.
Nice.
So going back to like the custom colors that y'all do, I know one of the biggest things, or one of the coolest things I've seen, is like matching the LMT tannadized.
Oh yeah.
Y'all have a color that comes, I mean, almost exactly like it.
Shit, I have a full set in the car. Yeah.
How many colors go into that?
Ooh, like 8 or 9, I think, if I can remember correctly. Yeah.
might have to send my LMT to
Right?
get
Yeah.
some,
I mean,
get some tanadized.
Now, like match is like a strong word.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
we can get close. Yeah.
and then also too that LMT tanadized is kind of all over the place.
It
but,
is.
Yeah. 50
there's
shades of FTE.
yeah, probably more shades than that.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we have like we have 2 lowers of the same batch in the shop right now. It's the new like butterscotch, Adam Tar, Tano, and they're both completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course someone sent in an upper and was like, "Yeah, I just need you to match my lower." I was like, "Cool, send your lower."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, it's cool." So he sends it out. I'm like, "Look, bro, I got 2 lowers. I went in the middle here. Like, we have a mix, and then we'll adjust it. Kind of, like we'll get really really close, and then we'll adjust it. A hue or a shade one way or the other to get it to match a little bit better if we can." But I was like, "Look, bro, I went right in the middle," and he was like, "Hopefully it matches." Like,
Yeah.
like
I hope.
I don't like the word match though. Like that's
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. So
Y'all do some pretty cool colors too. I think
thanks.
is that kind of like. It seems like that's kind of like y'all's thing. Is like these really cool. I mean, there's tons of different shades of OD green or FDE or whatever you have, but like getting like a shade that looks really cool. Kind of like
Just
you're
make
talking
those
about.
colors look really good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the best version of OD green or
Yeah.
the best version of FDE.
Right. Yeah. And I think that like attributes to a lot of our like if you want to call it success, I guess. But because like I notice like people that are buying the expensive stuff and they have money to pay like premium prices, they don't want like American flags and Punisher skulls or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're just butthurt that they had to buy a black LMT lower because they couldn't get a canteen green one, right? And they want it green or tan or whatever it is, right? So, but they don't want it Cerakote because I don't even like the way Cerakote looks. It's like bland and flat, like nasty. So, but I was like, well, like if it could look anodized and be consistent, like maybe that'll be the ticket. And then of course, like when the whole Eotech thing blew up,
Yeah.
we did that. Like, yeah, that's when everyone was like, holy fuck, like this is like possible. So,
Is that when you started mixing your own colors?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was with the Eotech thing.
So talk about the Eotech for people that may not know.
Yeah, so like a while ago, Eotech was still, to my understanding, Eotech was still under the L3 umbrella, and so they couldn't really do what they wanted to do, right? So, but I remember like when I started coming into the color industry, if that's what you want to call it, like everyone was just bullying Eotech about OD green, like OD green. And they'd post something like "Happy Father's Day," and
Yeah.
there's like 20 people like, "Give us OD green," and I was like, "Damn, like this is something." So like I was sitting there one night and I was thinking like I had just spent the last of my money on all the rent and stuff for the shop, and I was like, if something doesn't happen, like we will be fucked. And so I like looked at my Eotech and I looked at the paint locker, had no money for paint, and I was like, I might be able to make a green that looks ano. So I started dumping a bunch of stuff in a bottle, and then I posted a picture. I made the laser files like on Illustrator to put all the markings back on so it doesn't look fake. And I posted a picture, and I was like, I'll show you guys tomorrow like what this looks like. And then I sprayed it and I tagged Eotech, and I was like, now you. And then everyone was like, what the fuck is, like, who is this guy? And then that's when people started sending stuff in like, hey, I want my stuff done like that. I want my hood looking like that, blah, 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 blah. And then like that's when we found the need to make more colors because people kept sending in their green stuff, and I was like, I can get maybe close to that. But yeah, I think that's really what like kind of skyrocketed us, was just like being dickheads
Yeah.
to a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Bullying
It's what the
Eotech
people
around.
want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Bullying works.
it does. It does. Yeah.
Definitely does. And that's led to a lot of success around the industry for a lot of people is jumping on opportunity that somebody else won't, or somebody else can't because they're not set up to do that. You get too big to do something on a small scale, and then it doesn't make sense for you anymore.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of like Eotech under the L3 banner. I mean, L3 is a huge. Eotech's a huge company, but L3 is just like this monstrosity, and I think it's probably got caught up in like the whole corporate,
Why do we want to do that?
Yeah.
to get those people to quit harassing us on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't care either. Like, I mean, like when I was in the Marine Corps, so I was a comm guy, but I remember like all this stuff that I would touch all the time. It was made by L3, and I was like, damn. And then I talked to the guys like, hey, we need to order this part or whatever, and they're like, oh, like this is how much it costs, and it'd be like a card or something, and it'd be like $4,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell. And like, but they make all this stuff, and I looked them up, and they make like, you know, the metal detectors at airports and all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah, they have their hand in everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, of course, they don't care about doing green
Yeah.
for the civilian populace. You know what I mean?
For one small, for this,
For like 400 people that want it.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't
For this one SKU from this one company that they own, you know, like it's so far removed from what they give a shit about. Like
The same dudes that are harassing them on Instagram are the same dudes that are harassing the ATF when they post something about, you know, they're like,
Oh, I know.
some random shit, you know, and then they're like, you burned them all down at Waco. I'm like, dude, it was a
or
it
like
was a
Magpul,
post.
like Magpul post something they're like give us the waffle maker, you know.
Yeah.
God damn.
Well, ask Dwayne how he feels about waffles. once he comes on the show, Dwayne, you're coming on the show.
Now I want a waffle.
Now you want
Right.
waffle,
Yeah.
an OD green waffle.
I'd eat it.
He could paint.
Ooh, actually, we have a patch. I do have a green waffle patch.
Nice. Sign me up.
At least it's not blue.
That's true. Yeah, we don't do blue. Actually, yeah. I say we don't do blue, but I just did a gun for a 6-year-old, and they wanted blue camo, so I was like, fuck it. He's 6 years old.
So what's the worst job that you've turned down because you didn't want to do it?
Oh, I kicked a guy out of the shop. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Nice.
no, I kicked him out of the shop because he came in, was like, at first he was trying to give me business advice, like told me that his company made $100,000 in 11
yeah.
years. I'm like, bro, like I make more than that in disability, homie. Like that's bad. And then he goes, yeah, man. So I was like, well, also once I take investors, I have to do red guns, and I don't do red guns. And he's like, well, that's what I want, and you'll do it for me. I'm like, nope, you can just get the fuck out. And he was like, oh, you're gonna kick me out? I'm like, yep.
Please leave.
Yeah, you can just leave now. And he was like, just over a red gun? Like, yep. Toodaloo.
You don't do red.
Don't
but
do red.
You do purple.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I'll do purple. Are you kidding me? There's 12 people that want that. It's like,
Literally dozen.
yeah. Yeah, the purple thing's hilarious. Yeah. It's also a pain in my ass, but yeah. No, yeah, we
purple
don't
nights.
do red, we don't do blue, neon green, white, or
No zombie
or
green?
yellow. No zombie green.
Zombie
Nope.
green was really big when we were into it.
No stormtrooper rifles.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. No, not even once. No,
That's terrible to deal with. White. It's hard.
White guns are horrible. Like they just
Dude.
they're
Yeah.
my dumb ass took on a white project like an idiot because when I was in retail, this dude came in, you know, the white Canics or whatever.
oh yeah.
He was like, I want that gun, but it's not like really white, you know? And I'm thinking like, if I sell him this gun, I'm gonna get commission on it. Plus, he's gonna pay me to paint it white. So like, this is like a double win, and it's just white. How hard could it be? Because I'm an idiot. And he was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. I was like, okay. So I sold him the gun, gave him a discount on the job, painted the white gun, and just wanted to kick a baby. Like it was so bad. It was the worst thing ever. And then we work with a dude, Alan Leibowitz. He runs a company called Pit Crew Coffee Service, and they don't make, but they like install and maintain like big ass espresso machines. Yeah. Super cool guy, but he brings me these like 30 by 30 panels or whatever for this espresso machine. He's like, I want them white. Oh fuck. Yeah. That was such a headache. Like just trying to fit in the blaster and then trying to paint it, and you know, like white turns up blue if it's too light, but it gets runny if it's too wet. So trying to do these 30 by 30 panels, 3 of them, dude, and like not make anything run, and then fit in the oven,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, so we just don't do white anymore.
Yeah.
We shut red stuff down quite often, not as often as we used to, because like a lot of local guys would be like, "Hey, there's a Cerakote shop here. Let's see if they'll do my fucking Glock slide in red." Like, no, the fuck I won't.
You should
See
have a
let me
big
see if they paint
billboard
half
on your
my stuff red.
big billboard on your front door. We do not do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, the funny thing about that is on Google we used to be a gun shop, You know, because like when I set up the account,
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude, I was like, I put in like gun refinishing, gunsmith, paint services, like whatever. And the only thing that would come up was gun shop. And I got pissed off because people kept calling me like, hey, y'all got any stendo clips for my Taurus G2? Like, no, like,
Yeah, beams that fit a 9mm.
yeah, like, bro, like, no, I paint shit. And then, or I'd have people just show up out of the blue.
Yeah.
Just walk in and like balls deep paint and stuff or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm looking for like a 4-inch handguard." Not here, bro.
Where, bro?
Yeah, like so.
Let me know if you find one.
Yeah, right.
So we changed. I tried to change it on Google to manufacturer, and it wouldn't let us do that. So I changed it to art studio, and it let us.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So now if you look at Redacted Concepts, it says we're a fucking art studio.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's hella pictures of guns, which is so funny. I get like 0 calls, 0 stop-ins now.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, hilarious.
Fantastic. That's why we don't have a phone.
Smart. Very smart.
It's him.
Very
People
smart.
ask us all the time, fax and phone number.
Oh, yeah. Fax, phone number. Dude's like, I want to buy a mall, but I have to talk to somebody because I've never heard of you. All right, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Have at it.
Sorry.
What? What? No, I want to buy a mall. Okay.
Okay.
So do a whole bunch of other people
Yeah.
that don't have to talk to me on the phone
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we might just disconnect our number. To be honest.
I
Cut the
actually,
cord.
we did have a phone at one point,
We did have a phone.
and
yes.
I answered it the one time, and it was the bank looking for Ike. And you were in your office, and I was like, I cannot answer these questions for you.
Oh, no, never mind.
Here's the boss.
This was a mistake.
Yeah.
Click.
I think we looked at each other. It was like when I first started, and you're like, you want to answer it? And I was like, yeah, kind of. And I did. And I was like, nope.
Actually, I think I knew it was the bank. I saw the caller ID.
Yeah, you probably did.
I was like, oh, I want to fuck with Ian.
So you don't like red.
No.
But what's the coolest thing?
Odia green. No, I'm kidding.
FDE, you mean?
Yeah, you pronounced FDE wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Purple.
I don't know. Like, I just I like doing stuff that hasn't been done before in a color that it's never been seen in before. You know what I mean? So like the Odia green Knights and the Odia green LMTs that isn't the canteen green or whatever, and like the mud lights and the Eotechs and the Unity risers and like all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I like being like the first, and then people are like, oh shit, like that actually looks good. That'd be really neat if something came out like that. Like with the Eotech thing, like their Eotechs actually look very similar to what we made, you know, a year and a half ago or whatever. So that was really cool to see, because it was like people were like, damn, that looks really good, and then they came out and they're like, holy shit, that looks like Sal's. Like, it's not, but
Thanks.
buy one anyways. Yeah, but like to me that was like, oh, that's really
It's
cool.
a validation. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I just like doing the new stuff that's never been done.
But you can't get an EXPS. You know,
No,
OD.
you can't.
It's Tanner Black.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we do it.
Yeah.
So the one that's on my gun, that's ODG 3.6. That's like super OG. That one's all fucked up now. But yeah, that's like the first one that like kind of blew up.
So you have these different the nomenclature for your colors, like the OD green 6.2.
Yeah.
What's the theory behind that?
Yeah, so basically, like, every color, we can revise it one way or another. So, like, with ODG 62H, for example, like, ODG is obviously the color designation. So we have, like, ODG, Tano, RCG, which is Redacted Concepts Gray, and we had an RCP at one point, or purple, but I canned that whole thing. But yeah, so it's like it's color designator. So in our little black book, we know like what we're looking for. And then the first number is going to be like the new mix variation. So like people think that ODG 6.2 is just more stuff added to ODG 1, which that's not the case. It's like we'll start with a different base and we'll add different amounts of this or that or the other thing to start with a new color. So it's like the first number is always just a new shade. After the decimal is like the variation of that shade. So what we'll do is, you know, I'll start with 4, 5, 6 colors or whatever to get kind of close when it's wet in the bottle to like what I'm going for. And then once I'm kind of happy with it, you know, I'll write it on a piece of paper. I'll shoot a sample and I'll bake it. I'll pull it out. I'll assign the 6.0 to it, for example. I'll hold it next to the part and be like, like I need more of this. So then I'll give it a 0.1 designation and I'll add what I think I want. Then I'll shoot a sample, bake it, hold it next to the part, and then just so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
But what that does is sometimes when we have people's parts come into the shop, I can look through the old sample discs that I've made, and I have a recipe for it,
Gotcha.
right? Because it's all written out, and it's like, this is what goes into 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, so on and so forth. So I can hold all the discs there and then take that to the book and look in the book and be like, okay, this is the paint that I have to mix up.
There we go.
This is already close. So, we'll just run it. And then the most popular stuff like that kind of sticks around. That's like our 3.6, our 5.2, our 6.2, and that's kind of what everybody knows. But there's so many there's no 4 because from we started on 4 and went all the way. It took us 15 variations to get to 5.2. So like we just skipped 4 completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we still have discs for 4 or whatever, but yeah. So it makes things easier for us because it, like when I'm looking at the recipe book, it's just like, okay, like this is close. We can make something happen.
Can people, like, if I had a Cerakote shop up the road from you guys, would you sell them that color?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
That's kind of like your IP.
We
Yeah,
definitely
like,
had people ask.
We used to. There's 2 people on planet Earth that have a bottle of something or another, but we stopped doing it because cost-wise, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like we actually did the math on it, and it was like a bottle of ODG 6.2 would probably cost you about $600, just because there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
So there's nobody's gonna pay that for a bottle of paint. It'd be cheaper to just send your stuff to us and wait and have it painted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But on the other side of that is we've gotten to the point where, like, I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but people know our colors when they see them. So if I were to give that out to somebody else and let's just say they do a hack job on it, but it's our color.
Yeah, they're gonna
like,
think it's you.
That looks bad on us. So it's also kind of just protecting that IP a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Protecting the name.
Makes sense.
So
So
I
how
guess
many-
theoretically anybody could go out and make the same mixture or get something close.
Yeah.
But the time that it would take and the amount of dollars it would take. I mean, like on OD Green 6.2, I think you said there's like 16 colors.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not going to. I think it would take a lot to go figure out what those 16 colors are, and then
the right ratios.
the ratios,
We got
and
the
everything.
ratios, the consistency
Yep.
for each of those colors. Like
It'd be.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And you have to apply it different than you do like most other Cerakote too. Like, so like here's a secret, and if you're listening and you take this, I don't give a fuck. But like, so when we spray like a part in like one of our ano looking colors, we have to let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes, because like there's no secret that we add like burnt bronze and gold to our colors. That's how we get like the shiny looking whatever.
ano sheen to it.
The problem with like if you were to spray it and shove it straight into a hot oven, all those flakes are going to stay at the top, and it's going to look flaky. So we let it sit because those flakes, they're going to kind of go to the bottom like a semi-permeable membrane almost, and they're going to kind of sink to the bottom. And then since we add the emulsifier to the paint, it helps spread them out, but it also makes the paint almost translucent on the top layer. So that way when you're looking at a part and like not in the light, it looks green or whatever. And then you take it out to the sunlight where it can penetrate that top layer, if you will, and get down to the bronze and gold flakes. And then that's when it starts looking anodized, because you're getting the depth of the pigment underneath, like, you know what I mean? But you can't just stick it in a hot oven, or else all that shit will just stay at the top, and then it just looks nasty and bronze or gold or whatever.
That's some science.
That's some,
Like I would be terrible at that job. Everything would turn out black or like crap color.
some kind of like dark grayish.
Yeah, or I just do everything in orange.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Did you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to figure out how to make this Cerakote look ano?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, when everyone was bullying Eotech about it, yeah, I decided like I need to make a green that looks ano. I mean, we started trying to do a Tano way before that, and those all turned out like shit. And then when I started doing the ODG stuff, like that's when people were like, "Holy fuck! Like this guy did an OD Green Eotech." So like that's kind of where that came from. But yeah, like I had no money. Spent all my money on rent and bills and all kinds of stuff. Deployment money had dried up. Like the school or the GI Bill wasn't paying me at that point. Like we were like baroque. And I was like, if we don't get
we're
work
doing
in the
everything just out of pocket.
if I don't get anything in the shop in the next 30 days, we will go under.
Next is feet pics on OnlyFans.
Pretty much, dude. Yeah, it was rough.
For my tier 3 subs only.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that's pretty much how it happened. It's just like, fuck it, we're gonna make something happen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Did you apply any of your fine arts background into making those colors? You're like, oh, I know I can take this color and this color and somewhat get it, or was it just trial and error?
Yeah, I mean a little bit when it comes to like color theory. So the reason like ODG 6.2 has so many colors in it is like because there's colors in there for shade or color bias or sheen or depth or whatever, right? So that did help because then I could be like, okay, well, like this color, like this part is more blue bias than this paint. And so I could add something in to bring it over like in the biased region and then adjust shade differently and sheen or whatever. So like I'd say only the color development stuff. But up until recently, like I didn't use any graphic design stuff in the Cerakote industry up until recent with the new Instagram push that we've been doing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And you're taking your own photos?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is a pain in my ass. Yeah. No, hopefully, yeah, like, so right now, like, I'd say a couple months ago, I saw, like, you know, because we promoted a lot on Facebook, not promoted as in, like, paid for ads or whatever, but that's really where we got most of our exposure from. And I knew that was going to dry up at some point. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I have to reach back into Instagram and get on people's feeds or whatever and start pulling business from there. But the problem is when you have guys doing really dynamic, cool stuff, like Mike, right? Yeah. He does the cool Star Wars or whatever. That dude, he can just hold it in his hand and take a picture, and that thing looks fucking badass. Yeah. Right? But, like, I take an AR that I just painted fucking green. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, okay, like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But that's when I, like, kind of just fucking put my head in the dirt and was like, I have to do more Photoshop. I have to, like, make the Instagram, give it, like, a whole new aesthetic. So that's the kind of push that we've been doing recently. And it's also kind of cool for people that send their stuff in, because when we take these pictures, like, the pistols, they're going to be, like, we have to do a photo merge because I'm shooting with a fucking Canon T3i, super old school. So I have to take a bunch of pictures, photo merge them, and then color correct them or whatever, and then Photoshop it. So after that merge, like, rifles are going to be like 40 inches wide in Photoshop. Like, they're massive at 300 pixels per inch. So what's cool is when I put it on Instagram, yeah, it's going to compress it, but I can upload it to Lens Dump. And then if it's your gun, I can send you the link, or and then you can take that picture, that full resolution 30-inch picture or whatever it is, and take it to someone who can print it on vinyl or acrylic or whatever, and have it printed, and they can put it in their shop or garage or whatever. Nice. Yeah.
Or man cave.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been a good push, and it's also helped us out a lot with the content that we put on there, because I tell people, like, hey, like, because people ask me all the time, like, do I have to disassemble my stuff before sending it in? I'm like, it's actually better if you don't. Yeah. Because, you know, we stopped charging for assembly or disassembly. Oh. Yeah. Wow. I don't charge for it at all anymore. And the reason being is if I post a picture of a complete gun on Instagram, I get more business out of it than if I were to just post receivers.
Yeah, receivers and a rail. Like,
exactly. Yeah. So I get way more exposure. I get way more follows and shares and DMs and emails and all kinds of stuff if I post a full gun. So I'm like, that $100 that I was going to charge you to assemble or disassemble, and maybe just have you just say, you know what, no, fuck it, I'm going to save the $100, send my shit in stripped. Instead of that, now I'll make $600, $700, $800 off of other people like, hey, can you do my whole gun too? Yep. Right? Because they want to see, you know, the color combos with stock parts and painted parts, right?
And it's easier for them to envision, like, their gun looking like that, instead of just like, here's like some receivers, here's some aluminum, you know, parts. Here you have the whole package. Oh man, that looks awesome. Yeah. Exactly. I want mine to look like that.
Exactly.
You know? That makes total sense.
Yeah, especially when you're doing stuff like the LMT 10-0s and the FDs, 50 Shades, because you get it and there's,
when you put a grip and a buttstock and all the other accoutrements on it, you know, and you have like the black mixed in with the tan. Yeah. That's when it really pops out.
Yeah, because one thing is that for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I want this part painted, but I don't know how it'll look. It's hard for them to really get a good vision of how their gun's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And they can look through our feed and they see all these completed guns that are already painted. They can kind of figure out, it's like, okay, my gun kind of looks like that, and that's what I want done with it. And that looks really good. Now I want mine done like that too. And then they'll send us, like, I want it looking exactly like that. And it works out for them pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah. Shit, I should have brought in that fucking LMT set. Yeah, no, it's it's so much better for the Instagram now, and at the end of the day, I feel so much more comfortable putting it together in the shop than if I were to send it back, because we've had people, like, we'll send their stuff back, and you know how people are, like, they don't want to buy the fucking roll pin press for the trigger guard, and, you know, they don't want to buy the rubber coated punches for their fucking bolt catch or whatever. They start swinging hammers next to it, and they fuck their shit up, and they hit me up. They're like, hey, my shit's fucked up. Is it under warranty? I don't know, bro. What'd you do? Oh, I hit it with a hammer.
That's not
Nope.
warranty. That's
It dropped it down a mountain.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, and then it creates drama, and they're like, oh, what the fuck, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like,
Not wear and tear.
you're
wrecked
eliminating
it.
headache for yourself, basically.
Don't hit it with a hammer.
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
right? It just makes sense.
Like if you hit anal with a hammer, it's gonna ding.
Dude, that's how you get battle worn, though.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah, no. I had a dude, and he was like, that whole gun was such a pain in my ass, but he wanted it painted like OG GWatt, distressed, fucking mesh bag,
Oh, yeah.
leaves and bullshit, whatever. I started sending him pictures, you know, it was distressed or whatever, like the way we would with like the silver and the black or whatever. He goes, well, why doesn't it look like rounds hit my brass deflector? I'm like, well, probably because no rounds have hit your brass deflector. And he goes, well, can you make it look like that with like paint? I'm
Have
like,
you tried shooting it?
and I know, that's what I told him. I'm like, just shoot it. He's like, well, you know, I work in this industry and I don't really have time to shoot it, blah, blah, blah. Can you just make it look like it? Bro, so I popped his upper up in the vise, like some soft jaws, and brass hammer. And yeah. And I'd send him a picture. I'm like, is this good? And he was like, more.
Give me your money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so I beat the hell out of that brass deflector.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. It left a bunch of little brass marks. And he was like, perfect.
Oh, that's,
Cool.
that's amazing.
All right.
Dude, what color paint was that?
It was like tan and green and brown. Or, yeah.
You remember that the Badger mount that's on my gun now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had somebody sent an FD Badger mount back, and they're like, it's too dark. It's the most beautiful shade of brown. Like, it came back. I'm like, oh, that's mine. Like, that would have never left the building. Like, it's beautiful, and you can't duplicate that with ano.
Nope.
But I could be like, hey, dude, make the whole gun.
Oh, you're gonna wait a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be a bit of
Yeah, I have one on my desk that I need to pick up that's like different. Like, it's not all one color. Like, the top rings are a completely different shade. It's like the guy, he literally was like, I don't like it. It's two different colors. I'm like, it's all right, cool.
Cool.
So,
We'll take,
Yeah.
we'll take it. Don't worry, somebody will love that.
Yeah.
Somebody will adopt it.
the
Give it a good home.
Yeah.
it's like we have those the KAC rear sights, and we had a few with the Marine Corps, you know, globe and anchor on it, and I mean that's that good. You
Yeah.
know, and somebody was like, I don't want that, and Josh was like, no, I will take that. Like, I will be buying that.
That's some OGG Watt
Yeah.
trapboard shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking cool. People are so weird, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Teach their own.
But that's
I know.
that's why you've got I mean, literally why you've got a business is so you can custom coat somebody's shit so it's the exact color that they want.
We can try.
Yeah.
Oh, we can try. Yeah, we've had stuff come back like, this isn't exactly what I wanted. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's when you hit it with the hammer.
That pretty much, yeah.
We'll
the
send it
thing-
back just about exactly the same too. And they were like, "Oh, perfect." And I was like, "I didn't change anything." I don't
Yeah. Well, the thing is, people want me to crystal ball fucking match all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, my gun kind of looks like this, so just make it match. Like, I don't have your gun here, though. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, just, like, think about the way it would look. Okay? And I'll send it back. They're like, nope, this isn't even close. Send your shit. No, I don't want to. Okay?
All right. Well, that's what you got then. I don't know if you.
It can't even match from pictures. I don't care what people
No,
say.
No.
You
cannot.
can't.
It's
If
so
it's
hard.
not here, sitting there side by side in the same exact light, it's not happening.
That's the thing. You can take the same picture of like the clear Anno Badger mounts that we had.
Yeah.
They look totally different in 5 different lightings.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
Fact.
clear, I know.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's hot.
It's
It's hot.
oh, yeah. No, we started doing some clear anno stuff. What a pain in my fucking ass that is.
it's basically like a white. or it's like another iteration of white. I guess it's more of like a gray, but like
Yeah.
I'm saying like I think it'd be like it's about as hard to do as a white.
I'd almost say it's harder. Yeah. So anyone listening, y'all can have this. I don't want this anymore. Like y'all can do it. No. So what we have to do with that is like, we have to sandblast it all the way down and then spray it with a layer of like tungsten or crushed aluminum or something that looks like raw metal. And then we mix 1 milliliter per 11 milliliter, 1 milliliter gold per 11 milliliters of matte clear, mix it matte, and then dry spray it over wet sprayed, the wet sprayed silver or whatever, and then let it sit. So that dry spray or whatever, it soaks in to the fucking silver so it doesn't feel all gritty.
Yeah.
And then we bake it. The downside of that is, since the clear isn't like completely clear, it has gold in it. If you hit one spot one too many times, it's way too gold.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the clear stuff we got in almost had like a tan look to it. Like it wasn't. You're like,
Yeah.
is this tan or is this clear? Like what's going on with that?
Even with
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun thing to play with because we can play with like how dark the base is and how gold it is and like whatever. But like if you look at like how many like nooks and crannies there are like in just a lower, right? Like you have this indentation and then under the fences and then in the mag or in the trigger guard, like you have all these nooks and crannies. So if you try and paint it like you normally would, you're just gonna make everything way too gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's kind of a pain in the ass. So somebody else, please do it better than me. And then make a name for yourself because I don't want to do it anymore.
Go ahead, cut out all that.
Yeah, no, take it.
What's next?
I think gray, dude. I think gray.
Yeah.
Gray has to be. Gray's gonna be the
There's a
top
lot
color.
of gray fanboys out there.
There is, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Oh yeah.
No, because like the FDE thing that was so like GWatt era, like everybody was painting their shit tan because that's what guys were using like downrange and like fucking Iraq and shit. And that's where all the cool pictures were coming out, like whatever. So everyone's shit was tan. And then like green kind of started popping up. I'd say like, cause like Afghan, right? Like everything is apparently green there. And then, anyways, but now I think like now we're kind of looking at more of like an urban scenario type thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not tinfoil hatting it, but you know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of the direction everyone's heading is like, let's do something that blends in more with the environment and what is the most likely environment to utilize this tool in. And that's, I think it's going to be gray.
Nice.
For sure. Not purple.
Not purple.
Not
Not
purple.
purple.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, Jake. No more purple.
Yeah. I think the next big hit is going to be gray.
Nice.
I
I
think it
can
has
get
to be.
board with that.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good color. It's fun. Not as cool as green, but
I like putting like one of every color on my rifle, like gray buttstock, FDE grip, ODG something, and just keep on doing it.
no, it looks cool. Yeah. If done right, it looks cool.
Yeah, mine don't look really cool. It's just,
Mine doesn't look cool or right.
yeah,
It's super easy
But
to
does
get
it
carried
work?
away. Yeah.
it goes bang.
It goes bang.
I like it.
Will
That's
it
what
blend?
matters.
Yeah.
That is the question.
Yeah, we actually got a lot of business from people like that, like circa like 2020, because they were just buying whatever parts they could find.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing matched.
Yeah,
And they were just like, "Can you just paint the whole fucking thing black?"
I don't want it to match though.
I
Like,
guess.
I just want to I want
Yeah.
to please all the crowds
There you go.
and myself.
You're just gonna upset all the crowds because none of it matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. I mean, like, fucking nothing on my gun matches.
Yeah, that's what I like. It's sweet.
It just
Like,
works. It works
Barely.
every time I use it.
Yeah.
So
goes bang.
most of the time, yeah. It goes bang, bang, bang. Actually. Yeah. Yeah. 0702 God mode.
Yeah.
There you- yeah.
It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Flexing.
It's fun. I'm like, hey,
Can't flex a post.
somebody write me a letter. I need to take that can with
Demo
me.
letter.
Right.
So, Joe, do you have anything? Got any questions, Ian?
No.
You run the Instagram, right?
No. Well,
Eh.
it's like everybody.
Everybody kind of.
Chris has been doing a lot of the Instagram stuff.
I
I've
take
been-
the pictures.
Yeah. I've been answering like all the weird DMs that we get.
Oh, gotcha.
All the feet pick requests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Are you still sending those?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's how I,
On request.
that's how I afford working here.
You guys don't pay me shit.
No, they pay me shit. It just goes back to
Back
to
to
gun
us.
parts.
Those shorty LMTs yesterday were hot. I'm glad I was able to walk out of here within 5 minutes of them showing up.
9-inch 300 blackout uppers.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If I did just build into a 300 blackout, I probably would have
That's dope.
had to do some weird things for one.
Fuck, 300 blackout. Building a 300 blackout makes me want to kick a baby, dude.
Mine's been good so far.
Mathematically, it doesn't add up to me because there's so many different variations of like loads for 300 blackout.
Yeah.
People are like, hey, build me a 300 blackout that shoots subsonics unsuppressed. Like,
Yeah, good luck.
why?
Yeah.
Why? And they're like, well, I only found 12 different kinds of ammo, so it has to run all of them reliably. Like,
Yeah, mine does not run subs too well, but it's like impossible to find subs right now, so I'm not too worried about it.
you got a can on it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. They were like crappy subs though. So
Oh.
Jake gave them to me. He's like, "Here, try these."
That checks out.
I was like, "Okay."
Don't trust me.
What am I shooting?
Number 1.
It was like shot 3, malfunction. Shot 1, malfunction.
Probably catching up on the feet. I think there's those like round nose soft points.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were. They were big rounds.
old.
Yeah.
Yo, did Jake tell you about what he implemented in our shop?
What's that?
A bidet.
Oh, nice.
Of course he.
The days are awesome.
Yeah, we were painting his gun purple, or all his purple stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything was bacon, and he like goes in the bathroom for a sec and like comes out like angry, and he's like, "Why is there no bidet?" I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Is the one still at the range?
Yeah, there's one at the range.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And he goes, "You got a set of pliers?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, what are you gonna pop the hose off or something? Just kind of like squat over? Yeah, I'm like, what? And he's like, "I got an extra one in my car. Give me a sec." Who just carries an extra bidet in the car?
Well, travel
Just in
bidet.
case the place didn't have one installed
So he
already.
comes out to his car. He comes in like stoked with a brand new bidet in the box in his hand, flips his hat backwards and goes, "Let's fucking do this." And like,
So
goes in-
Jake's now a plumber
Yeah.
installing bidets.
Oh yeah, he goes in, he sets it up, and he comes out. He like throws the box on the ground. He's like, "Keep the lid closed; it'll squirt the wall." I'm like, Jesus Christ!
They
bro.
left us a bill for it too. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't
Like, oh my God, he's
That's
like,
probably
"Nah,
one of the best stories I've heard.
bro.
That's
legit.
wonderful.
so animated." I was like, "Why do you have?
Why do you just?
Why is it in your car, bro?"
Why did this whole series of events unfold this way?
Oh yeah.
Well, now he's got to go replace his trunk bidet.
Right? Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the soundbite right here. This is the preview for the episode. That's it.
I have so many questions about that.
Yep. So did we. None, They
Yeah.
weren't answered.
Yeah. No. I try to ask him like, "Why do you have an extra?" He's like, "I just do."
I just do. All right.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's typical.
I just it boggled my fucking mind.
Hey, that's your brother, man.
Yeah. Hey, whoa.
He's adopted.
Yeah.
Well, so, side story. I didn't realize that they were brothers for the first like 2 weeks I worked here. It just didn't click. And I was like, "Oh, how'd you guys meet?" and like literally like nervous me. I'm just like, how'd you guys meet? Like how'd you? And what did he say? Crap! Now my story's gonna be ruined.
Yeah,
but
it's a horrible story.
Yeah, he like totally screwed with me.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I just known him for a while.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
something
He's like,
that.
yeah, I just known him for a while. Like we just been friends for a while. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. He's like, no, you idiot, that's my brother. And I was like,
Oh my God.
oh, wow.
There's a pretty good
Literally
height.
known him all my life.
There's a pretty good height difference, so you could.
I don't even think they look
didn't-
alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it at all.
Not a lot. Yeah.
No,
I got the looks. I mean,
fact.
and the brains,
Sure.
and the body.
Jake has the bidet. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That's the bidet. Really just
Not
it.
anymore. It's at our place.
Yeah.
I need to call Jake and have him, come to
Yeah,
come
just
to the
like, hey
house
Jake,
and-
can you come check out my house real quick?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Like
We need a bidet at the shop. I mean,
Don't
that's-
even tell him. Just send him into the bathroom, and he'll come out just pissed
in a
off.
rage.
Yeah.
You can
Why
hear
is
him
there not
yelling,
a bidet in
He
there?
runs to the other bathroom. God damn it.
Kool-Aid man's the door.
Just having a fucking conniption over no butt squirt, like, bro.
How is it? Like, has it changed y'all's life at the shop?
It's kind of cool. My kid like squirted himself in the face with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Then he got
'cause
pink eye.
he's like, damn, what is that? Ah, fuck. Like, yeah, he's 4, but no, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Nice.
I probably wouldn't buy another one of that same brand
Because it
it's like-
squirts the wall.
Well, yeah, that, but it's like cold, bro.
Yeah.
You want a heated one.
You gotta get
Yeah.
the ones with the heated seat and
Yeah.
then the heated stream.
I know,
That's
that
where
would-
it's at.
Ike's a connoisseur of bidets.
Yeah.
See, but the heated seat would kind of freak me out.
It's nice. You could it actually once you go back like in the winter it's very nice because
Oh,
then
I
like
bet.
I'll go
Oh,
use like
yeah.
the guest bathroom
Uh-huh.
and then I'll sit on it. I'm like, what the? is
Yeah.
cold because I'm like my butt's accustomed to like a certain standard of living. You know,
certain temperature.
Start having flashbacks to that porter shooter in Kuwait when you sit down and it's too hot.
Right.
You're just oh god,
Yeah,
horrible.
You just
memories.
hover.
Yeah.
The hover beat the heat was the most exhilarating leg workout / shoulder workout ever. Yeah.
Dude, we really appreciate y'all coming up.
Thanks for having us.
You'll have to come back sometime. Excellent information about
Jake.
about Jake, about bidets.
We'll count it.
You should do an FDE bidet.
Yeah. That could be a whole niche.
that is an idea.
Yeah.
I want some credit though, so
Yeah.
just tag me on your Instagram picture.
Actually, what I used to tell people on Facebook was, if it'll fit in the oven, it won't squirm. I'll fucking paint it green. Bang my line, homie. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we do really appreciate y'all coming up.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man.
This has been
Yeah,
fun.
thank you.
Yeah.
Good to have both of y'all.
It's always fun.